Hey folks, welcome to Marlo Monday. I'm your host, Steve Reynolds. I was told once that around every corner you see the shadow of Marlo. You can be sure that he did cover most avenues and inspired others to do the same. But Marlo did not always cover everything, and if a better idea was shared, he would promote it. Just look at the early books and you'll see his friends being honored for their contributions. And this continued through the years. Take, for example, the double undercut palm. This is a move that Marlo created, but it's not the handling that we generally see. That credit goes to Art Altman. But he kept these special techniques under wraps for 40 years until they were eventually published in the Marlo magazine. I'm telling you all this because I was recently trying to solve another Marlo mystery. After digging into his 1953 control systems, I studied all the cutting actions. This included comparing the fundamental actions that bring the applications and finesses together. One cut handling in control systems, a true cut, reminded me of similar cuts that we use today. Names like Bobby Bernard, Larry Jennings, Ken Krenzel come to mind. They all published versions of this kind of cut. But I was perplexed that Marlo had not continued to develop that basic cut. It was so close. Perhaps it was just a case of hitting a blind spot, like with the double undercut palm. I know that he had covered the in-the-hands cuts in an article in the Gen back in the 1950s. Marlo was a stickler for the published record. Notes found after the fact are not admissible. And he followed that as a rule. The mystery continued until I discovered a one-sheet description typed with rough drawings of that missing cut. In 1949, Marlo received these notes from his friend Neil Elias, which detailed a cut that begins like the cuts in control systems and referenced the running cut in Deck Deceptions published in 1942. These notes predate the publication of control systems, which strongly suggest an answer to that nagging Marlo mystery. Why didn't Marlo follow through and include this false cut in control systems? Perhaps it was because the cut was already established, at least in the Elias notes. But again, this is not a plea to change the published record or sidestep those who contributed similar ideas, but to simply answer another Marlo mystery. I'm Steve Reynolds. Join me next week for another episode of Marlo Monday.